Welcome to the Surviving Siblings podcast. I'm your host, Maya Roffler. As a surviving sibling myself, I knew that I wanted to share my story, my brother's story. I lost my brother to a homicide in November 2016, and after going through this experience, I knew that I wanted to share my story and his story. And now it's your turn to share your stories. Today I have such a cool guest. I have Janine DeTore. Janine, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. I am excited to hear more about your story. As I always say, it's super bittersweet to meet like this, but it's a wonderful place to share more about your incredible sister, Angela, who had quite the interesting life, and you've had quite an interesting life too. So, Janine, I would love if you could tell us a little bit about your relationship with Angela, where you guys fell in the family. Take us back to your family dynamics. We'd love to hear about that.
I'm the youngest of 7. Angela is in between their 5. So our oldest sibling is a girl. Her name is Donna. Then we have a brother, Stephen, a brother, Ronald, a brother, Louis, then Angela, then a brother, George, and me. Okay?
The baby.
The baby. I actually was the baby until my mother passed away. And then I took over that role because I had the most kids and I was the most home. I had to take care of my nieces and nephews because my mother wasn't there to do it anymore and my sister had to go to work. But let's go back to when I was like 5 years old.
Yeah, let's do it.
That's pretty long ago because I am 58 now. My mother worked. My mother was a bar owner like my sister, and my father worked, so I needed a babysitter. So my sister Donna sometimes took care of me, but most of the times I was with Angela. So because let me tell you something funny. She used to have to take me with her, so she would go meet up with her friends or something. I had to be behind her. I'm 6 years younger than her. She used to dress me nice and do my hair and stuff. But my underwear, when I was a kid, because I was so small, my underwear never fit. They were always so big. I don't know why. So she had the name, she had made up a name for me. And she used to call me G. Chabelle Bloomer. Don't ask me what it was for, because I have no idea. But that's what she used to call me back then. She did change as I got older. Let me tell you a little about our family story. So me and Angela were 5 and 7. We're 6 years apart. My birthday is June 28th. Her birthday is June 30th. So I never, ever had a cake without my sister until she passed away. And I was 49. I was 49 turning 50. So for my 30th birthday, my husband had a party for me. For my 40th birthday, he gave the reins to my sister, and she had it for me. And then when she was in getting her chemo treatments, I used to walk around the hospital and talk to the other people because I was there every time. She had conversations with my husband about my 50th birthday, unbeknownst to me, until the party actually came. And I wouldn't get out of the car. So in any case, we were so close. We had children. We were pregnant together. We had our children together. I never vacationed without Angela. She vacationed without me, but I never vacationed without her. She was my other half. You know what I mean? Like, people think it's weird because your husband's supposed to be your other half, but I feel like my husband is my other half too. Like, I feel like I could spread myself around, especially with having 7 children of my own. We didn't come from rich beginnings. We were comfortable, but they had to work, my brothers and sisters, and they did. So it was hard when she got pregnant at first, and she wasn't with the guy, and my mother was very aggravated. And we were happy that she was having her first child, even though she was alone having it. But our relationship was, I was at the doctor with her every time she had to go to see the baby, to have her checkups and stuff. And no matter what happened, I was always there. She was married to someone before she had the baby, and he left. And my mother thought it was a good idea that I stay with her. So she put me in car service and I had to go to her apartment. After a week, I have to tell you, Maya, I just thought maybe I was going to jump out the window. Because
Okay, tell us why.
I, at that point, never knew my sister to cry.
Mhm.
So now, not only is she crying, but she's laying face down on the bed. So
Wow.
I'm literally talking to the back of her head. And little that she couldn't really even talk. So we stood there, her and I and her dog, about a week. I stood there for about a week and I called my mother and I said, we have to come home because, first of all, she was only 19.
Yeah.
When I'm 6, I was only 13. What
You
was
were
I going to
so
do?
young. I was just gonna ask, like, how old were you? You're 13. That's
Yeah,
young.
but I used to go over there and I used to make sure she didn't do anything stupid, make sure she ate, drank, stuff like that. Be like a nursemaid, for lack
Yeah.
of better words.
So your roles shifted, Janine, right? Like,
Role shifted.
yeah,
Our
you
role
were the caretaker at that point, right?
our role shifted big time when my mother died. I
Right.
don't know, but I don't know if you know if I have this book that I wrote,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I'll tell you the reason why I wrote it. But in this book, there's fun facts, and because I thought I was losing my mind at one point. I had to go to the doctor. I thought I was dying. I thought I was going to die. I was a mess when she died. But fun fact is my mom, me, and my sister Angela, and my sister Donna. Donna is June 6th. My mom is June 21st. I'm June 28th, like I said, and she's June 30th. My mom died February 8th, and my sister died February 18th.
Oh,
So they were both going to be 56 in June. So they both died at 55. So I'm weirded out a little bit by that
I
because
am too, but I'm super into like numbers and signs. I don't know about you, Janine, but
I'm into numbers. I'm into
yes.
numbers big time and signs because I know my sister would never leave me. I
Mhm.
know she's here somewhere. She's always that little voice in my head, or there are times that I hear her actually say things to me. It's very strange, but I do believe in it. So I started getting the calculator out and I'm trying to figure out. And my mom and my sister, my mom lived 20,320 days, and my sister lived 321 days.
Wow. You
She,
are really into numbers.
I'm always like, oh my God, this can't be. It was so close. She was going to be 56. My mother was going to be 56 that June. I'm like, this is too freaky. And they both died same age. My mom was died in 1988 and my sister died in 20. So it was hard because, listen, when my mom died, I was only 21. I had just given birth 6 months ago to my son Lewis. That was the apple of her eye because I'm the baby. So that usually happens. So at that point in our lives, my mom was doing fabulous. She had a wonderful husband, had a great stepfather. My father was still hanging around. He came for holidays and he was friendly with my stepfather and all that. And it was really a great dynamic that was going on, and how our mother showed us how to be together all the
Yeah.
time for every occasion, for every anything. Like me and my sister loved to go to Carvel on Wednesday because Wednesday's buy one, get one free.
Yeah.
She's like, "Are we getting Carvel tonight?" I'm like, no one would ever realize, like, even me, I didn't realize a lot of things until I actually had to go through things, like go through letters and go through cards and go through anything. Like, I made up this, my sister, my friend. Okay, I have it here the day she died. I ran and got it. Okay, but a few months after I got this, I was going through the stuff because I couldn't the first 3 months,
Yep.
and there was a card, and in the front of the card, it said, "My sister, my friend."
It's a sign. I believe in it. I totally believe in these
I
signs.
take my treasure chest here. You can't believe it. She thought I was crazy too because I thought it was fabulous having a TV show sister, a
Yeah.
fan. Because I'm like the biggest fan.
Yeah.
Angela was always Angela,
Yeah.
like this big force.
Yeah.
Like everybody knew her. She didn't make, my wives didn't make my sister. My sister made one. She stepped into that role as the godmother, and it was perfect. And, and she was a little scaredy cat, my sister.
Oh, really? How is she a
Nobody
scaredy cat?
knows how sensitive. That's why I wrote this book, because everybody always says, "Oh my God, here comes Big Angela." No, Angela was 5'10". I'm 5'1", and truthfully, I'm the mouth
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the one who will tell you off. And here, like, my sister would bring me these things. Do you see this?
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
this. She would bring me all these.
So for those of you listening, because we do audio and video, Janine, so it says a true sister is a friend who listens with her heart. So like
That's
your sister would give you these things.
these
Yeah.
little things. Look at
It's
this
beautiful.
one.
So no one listens, loves, and understands like my sister. Yeah, you guys have, I am just so, again, loving having you on the podcast, Janine, because I think it's
The truth.
bond. Yeah, the
I'm
bond that
getting
you had
goosebumps.
with, yeah, she's here with us for sure. I believe in that. If you guys believe in that, cool. If not,
I do,
it's cool.
because I'm getting.
And I think it's
You know,
interesting that you identify as the voice, but she was the big presence, but
she
you
was
were
a
the
big
voice.
personality. But if she
Yeah.
fought with somebody, she would say to them, "I'm getting my sister." And I used to score me up, and I used to go, "Do you realize the size of me?" She goes, "I know, but you do it so much better than I do." And all right, I'm coming. And I would
Yeah.
go. That's
Yeah.
just how the role was.
Right.
That's just how it was. She was always, if you look at old pictures of us, like, it was always like this one here is when I was young.
Yeah.
And my other sister was here, and my mom.
Hmm.
But I always went to Angela for some reason.
Yeah, your
Always.
pictures are, if you guys are listening to this, they're always together. They're always next to each. It's interesting that you, because you
It
come from
shows,
such a big family,
I
and
know. It's
you guys
always
just always gravitated. Yeah. We hope you're enjoying this incredible episode of the Surviving Siblings podcast. I'm your host, Maya Roffler. We'll be back in just a minute after hearing from our incredible sponsor. If you've lost a sibling, trust me, I know exactly how you feel. I'm Maya. I'm the host of the Surviving Siblings podcast, but I'm also the founder of Surviving Siblings Support. I know that going through this experience is extremely difficult, whether you've lost a brother like me, a sister, or perhaps more than one sibling. Trust me, we know exactly how you feel. So that's why I started our Patreon account. You can click below to find out more about our Patreon. If you join our Patreon group, it'll give you just a little bit of extra support that you need along your journey as a bereaved sibling, or as we like to call it, a surviving sibling. We offer monthly support groups. We offer a free copy of our grief guide that is actually found on Amazon. It's called the Grief Guide for Surviving Siblings. We also offer direct messaging to our community and to me for extra support. And we have incredible events. We have workshops throughout the year that you'll get access to, and you'll also have access to our summit that happens annually. And so much more as you'll connect with a community of surviving siblings that understand the journey of losing a sibling. You can click below to join us today and also check out some additional VIP features that we offer. I hope to see you in the group, and until then, keep on surviving, my surviving siblings.
But you know what else? She didn't really have to take me on with her on her journey to her fame. She had anybody she could have picked. We have a very large family, cousin wives and niece and sister-in-laws and whatever. She
Right.
didn't have to pick me at all. And she was like, "No, my sister's coming on it." And you see how we celebrated?
Yeah,
We
your
always
birthdays
celebrate.
together.
Right.
I do want to go back to something you said before we continue forward about talking about how your sister was your other half. This is so interesting to me, and I'm curious about a couple things, but I connect with you on this because my brother and I know you just know a little bit about my story, but obviously lost my brother to homicide. It was same year. We've got that connection too, but my brother and I have the same exact birthday, 3 years apart. We had, gonna blow your mind, same due date, 2 weeks late, born the same day, weighed the same, 3 years apart.
Are
I
you the
had
only? Were you the only two siblings?
Nope, I'm the oldest of 4. So there's sandwiched in between. We have a sister, and then I have a sister 10 years younger than me. So I have two surviving sisters. But there was something special. And this is why I connect with your story so much, Janine, because I love my sisters, I do, but something different with my brother and I, and it's written in the stars. That was 2 weeks, same due date, same birthday, weighed the other half comment. I said that before I ever started this show, and I was really like, you we're gonna get to, because you mentioned this when we were before we were recording about going through the process, and we're gonna get to that for sure. But when I was like, why am I struggling? And it's not a comparison, but I really took his death hard. And I was like, God, I feel like I lost half of, cut me down the middle, half. Like I would keep saying that. So it gives me chills that you said that, because and it doesn't mean that like my partner, because I got married 2 years after my brother, 3 years actually after my brother died, and met my husband 2 years after. But I always struggled to explain that to him, because I was like, no, you're, like you said it so perfectly. No, you're my other half too, but this is also my, it's like a spiritual half that, like, unless you've experienced it, it's really difficult to describe. You're a mom of a big family, you come from a big family, you have a lot of responsibility. You're a business owner, right? You were on television with your sister, which I want to talk about that. And I also want to talk about a couple other things too, but that's a lot. And then you're also telling me that you're very OCD. I feel like when we go through such a significant loss, like losing our sibling, this could be the biggest loss we go through. And that's what people don't know until they go through it. But I feel like all of these character traits that we have, or all of these habits that we have, get really magnified, because it can be easier to just burn ourselves out and go, versus sitting, like you going to the fair, sitting with the thought and the feeling for the moment and allowing yourself to cry or scream or
Yeah.
whatever you need to do. That's a little harder to do, but it is the healthy thing to do, to your point. Don't you think that we
I think it is healthy, and I
magnify,
think
right?
yes, it definitely is magnified by 100.
Mhm.
And if there could be more than 100, put me on the list
Right.
for that. So I listen. When she was sick, my sister, I made deals with God, the devil, a leprechaun. I was making deals with everybody.
Let's
Please,
talk about that, Janine. So she was diagnosed when? Because I know she passed. We've talked about
okay,
this already.
yeah.
So when was she diagnosed? So this was
Uh,
quite quick, this process. And what type of cancer did she have? Just so everybody
So my
knows.
sister, I was doing Palm Sunday. I'm standing by my counter, but I like to lay like supersod, mozzarella out, just in case people stop by. I knew she was coming early, and she likes to eat that. So she says, "You know what? I'm always doing this." And I says, "No, I know. Are you all right? What's wrong with you? What's going on with you?" Because I took her to the thyroid doctor. I thought maybe it was her thyroid. It did look a little enlarged. We do have bulgy eyes, and that's one of the symptoms. So she went. This was all before TV, and everything was really good with her. So
Mhm.
really, it was nothing. But the whole year that she filmed, she kept telling me, "Janine, get me an antibiotic." I said, "Why? My ear is killing me." And I know my sister can't take pain. She's not like me.
Mhm.
Like I had four of my kids with no epidural, nothing. I can
Mhm.
go to the dentist and not get Novocaine.
Yeah.
So I,
You have different pain
not like
thresholds. So yeah.
she's not like that. She wants to be numb, put out to sleep, kill her, hit her on the head with a mallet. She's not like that. So I was getting her antibiotics from my friend, the doctor, and I was treating her for an earache, which I thought. So I said to her, "I know you sound weird all the time. Well, coming into now the new season, so it's probably the pollen in your throat." She goes, "Yeah, look at this." She took a spot, a little tiny dot of mozzarella. Okay, picture an eraser of a pencil. Okay, she put it in her mouth. She chewed it. She stuck her tongue out to show me how much she chewed it. So it was like mush.
Mhm.
And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Now watch." And she could hardly swallow it.
Oh my goodness.
So I said, "Something's not right." Now, yeah, the next day was Monday. So I say to her, "I have to go to work, but you need to go to the doctor. So get your ass to Columbia," because she was in Columbia Presbyterian, first, and go see what's going on, because that's not normal.
No.
Because I thought it was allergies. Between the earache and this, and it sounded like allergies to me.
Yep.
So I went to work, she went off to the doctor, and my sister had a very strange way. of dealing with things. If she goes into church, she gets numb. She can't hear. She goes, I'm numb. And when she hears like something from a doctor, she don't actually understand it because she shuts it off and she becomes almost deaf. I can't explain it. She
Yeah.
goes, I can't hear. So now I pick up my phone. I know it's her because I barely hear her. Her voice started to change. And I go, what's going on? She's like, I'm still at the doctor. She's going. And I'm going, Angela, what are you saying? Talk a little louder. But she couldn't talk louder. Her voice was starting to change. So I said, all right, put the doctor on. So she puts the doctor on, and I say, what is my sister saying? So he says to me, your sister has throat cancer, stage 2. It's the size of a lemon, but it's not this way. It's this way.
This it's side yeah, sideways if you guys are
So
listening.
sideways. It's
Wow.
here. It wasn't up and down. It was this way.
Oh my
Zoom
god.
out.
How was she even functioning? Oh my god.
She was filming. She was going planes and just everything.
Right.
Twice, he says, I'm taking her by the hand and I'm walking her across the street, and she's going to get it right now, the test, to see what's going on. I said, okay, call me back. Call me back. Your sister, again, has stage 2 throat cancer. Okay? We need to get in there. We need to get the nodes out. We've got to get in there. I said, okay, we're going to do it. And could we please wait for Easter to pass? He said, absolutely. She wasted this long. Because it's stage 2, she could wait. P.S. She goes what they call an 8-hour surgery because they're going to take the lymph nodes from here and from here, as well as the cancer.
Right. They've
So
got to get it all out.
finally, they get out. We go and see when her numbers. She's in recovery, and they had this like board that you could see their number when they go to their room or whatever it was. So I ran into that room. We waited in there, and the doctor comes out. He goes, "Come here, I want to talk to you." So I said, "Okay, what's wrong?" So he says, "Listen to me. Your sister had this a long time. Did you ever notice that she has earaches a lot?" So I
You're
said,
like,
"Yeah, yeah."
yes.
He goes, I said, "Yeah, for the last year I'm treating her." He said, "You mean she had an earache?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "That was the first sign of the cancer." I said, "Was it?" He said, "Yeah, what happened was cancer was like pushing against her ear, something with it in her ear.
And it
That
was
was," he goes, "that was your first sign." I got out all the nodes on this side of your sister, but the surgery was so long, she has to come back, and we have to get out this side.
oh my gosh.
So she went out of home. We went back. We got the other notes taken out. She was okay. They didn't say anything. She was cancer free. So she went. I think she went in June to get these out because my youngest son was 7 at the time. He was making his communion in May. But in May, she was doing marriage boot camp.
Mhm.
And I said, you have to come to Ronnie's communion. But she was in California now.
Right.
So she flew back. She came.
Of course she did.
And she came.
Yeah.
They didn't want her to leave.
Yeah.
That was really against what they had to do because you're really not allowed to talk to anybody outside.
No, especially with the that's what a lot of people who don't understand
Yeah,
reality television, especially when you're doing something like it's different than like a Housewives or even Mob Wives where like you're filmed in
right,
your
right.
own environment. When you do marriage boot camp or something like that, like you're in that environment for 4, 6, however many weeks they need it, and your phone is off. Like you
That's it.
are cut off from the world. People
We
don't
got,
understand that.
I
Yeah.
think, 30 or 40 minutes a week
Yeah.
to talk to her
It's
while
kind of
she
like
was.
jail.
And I think it was. I think you're right. I think it was like 4 weeks.
It's 4 to 6 weeks typically for those when you're in the
Yep.
environment.
And then she was like, because she had to make a note for Neil. So she said, she must have said to the producer or whoever was there, I don't ever write my own stuff. I have to call my sister. You have to give me the number. You have to give me a phone. And they're like, no, you're not supposed to call. And then I wrote it for her. I said, you
Yeah.
ready? Write this. And I went, and she wrote it. Thank God. But had to give her the phone. How the fuck is she going to write it?
Yeah.
She was just beyond life.
Yeah.
She was beyond life. And I say to myself, the reason why she's in heaven, and I know she's in heaven, is because God needed her. God knows she finished her duty on this earth,
Yeah.
and she had to be in a better place. Because I feel she's in a better place.
Yeah.
Nobody could rob her or attack her or do anything to her anymore.
I relate to that
You
too, Janine, because I've gotten to that place as well, and it's a journey to get there, I think. I don't think it's an easy thing to get there right away and be like at first you're like, "Why did this happen?" And I'm angry. Like, for me, I was super angry at God, right? That's my that's a whole other podcast episode, but I was very angry, and now I'm much more in the place where you are. I'm like, "You know what? My brother had 27 years on this planet. He touched so many people. He was a musician. He was a YouTuber. So he was like really into, and I'm like, could he have done more? Sure. But it was his time. And I don't agree with how it was his time, as I'm sure you feel about Angela. But at the same point, as you do evolve and you move through the grief journey, you do get to a place, whether it's your faith that carries you through, whether it's the support of other people, whether it's therapy, however you get there,
I taught
you
religion for 8 years.
yeah,
I
because you're Catholic, Janine?
Yes,
Yes.
but I have to tell you, I strayed for a little bit. I
Me
was
too.
mad at God.
Me too.
I was so mad at him. I was so mad. Why her? On my knees, take me, me. I was begging him to take me.
Mhm. So
Don't.
bargaining was a big part of your journey. The "if you just take me instead of her," yeah, 'cause
I made
we touched about this before we started recording. The stages of grief are a very funny thing, and some people
very
experience
funny.
some and you experience them all over again, but for you, bargaining seems like it was a big one for you in your journey.
It was
"Take
a
me
big
instead of
thing.
her." Yeah.
It was a big thing. I felt like she had so much more time, and even though she's seen all her grandchildren except one, and she adored them, especially one. His name is Sal. She adored him because for 12 hours, when we had to go for chemo for 12 hours, out of that 12 hours, we used to go once a week. 8 hours, she was talking about Sal, the baby.
You're
I was
like,
like, oh,
"Okay, I get it."
at one point, because the cancer grew
Yeah.
to a lot of places.
Janine, take us back to that because so she had both of those surgeries
Okay,
and
so she had the
they
surgeries.
said she was cancer free, but then it came back.
This is what happened.
And we're in
July, I had
2015, right? We're in
we're in
2015.
2015
Yeah.
still. July, I always rent a house down Point. So it was about a Thursday, coming towards the end of the week, and I get a phone call. And who is it? My sister. I said, what are you doing? She goes, I have cancer. And I'm like, don't start with me. Because I thought she was goofing on me. I'm not
Right.
in the mood. I'm having a good week. Don't even go there. She goes to me, I'm serious. And she's crying. And I'm like, where could you possibly have cancer? Where? She didn't get chemo. She didn't get radiation. She didn't get no friggin' pill. She didn't get anything.
Yeah.
So I said, where are you having cancer right now? So she goes to me, in my lung, in my left lung. And I'm like, it can't be. So I go, okay, what are we doing? We're going to NYU. We found a doctor, great man, Dr. Abraham Shishoa. I still have his number. I still call him. We get there, and sure enough, my sister has cancer in the lung. He says to me, we're going to go in, and we're going to cut half of her lung out, her
Wow.
left lung. She's going to be all right, because she has the right, and she has the other part of the left. But we got to get him out. So I said, okay. That was the other surgery. And she went for that surgery, I think it was August. That's cutting her lung out. She went to NYU. They did it. She had a very big tube in her lung to get everything out. She hated it. She was screaming when I got there into her room. It was terrible. I said, okay, now that they got the lung, they got this cancer free. Still no chemo, still no radiation,
Right.
no medicine, nothing. Zero. The lung was stage 4. I said, okay. She quit smoking, all of that. Okay, we're fine. We had a party in October in my backyard. We had part of the show was done, and my wife's was done, and we had a cancer free party. That was the beginning of October. Okay. Doctor told her every 3 months you ought to come here and we ought to PET scan you. And my sister was like on it. Serious. So December 8th, 2015 still was a Monday. I had to go to work because I'm the Monday girl. And she calls me. Now she went by herself and because she was okay, she was fine. She went
Yeah.
by herself and she calls me up and she goes, cancer. And I'm like, listen to me. I can't even think about this. Put the doctor on. Just put him on speaker, tell him to get on speaker. And my son always walked down to my store from school.
Yeah.
So it was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I let him in. I buzzed him in, and I talked to the doctor, and the doctor goes to me, "Listen to me. Your sister is full of cancer." And I said, "What do you mean? It's 2 months. She didn't even come in 3 months. She came in 2 months. Where is the cancer now? Where?" She said, "There's 14 lesions in the right lung,
Oh my
two
gosh.
on her adrenal glands. She's got something on the kidney, 7 in her brain, in her chest cavity here. 1, 2, 3."
So it had spread that quickly, Janine.
I dropped to
Oh
the
my god.
floor. I start screaming. My poor son. He was like lightning. He must have took my cell phone and ran in the back and called one of my daughters and my husband. And I said, "Ron, shut the open sign off." And I laid on the floor, the tile floor, just laying there, screaming. I said, "How could this be? This can't
Yeah.
be. This cannot be." I just didn't understand it. I wanted to kill everybody in the hospital. I wanted to kill everybody. I can't explain the feeling that I got. The hell did you go from a cancer-free party, okay, less than 2 months, okay? You're supposed to go in January for the thing. You went December 8th. How the hell did this happen? How? So we had to go over to Lenox Hill to meet. I found the brain one because there's two different. You have the lung and you have to go different places. So she was going to do gamma knife, which she did. So you have to go to get the halo, it's called, fitted for your head. So they
Wow.
can do that. We went, we talked about everything. She needed to get an MRI. They scheduled her for a Sunday. We all went. We said, we're going to, when I say we all went, it's me, my husband, my kids. We went. And we'll go and we'll have dinner in the city. Perfect. I can't get in the MRI machine. I can't get in it. I says, "I'm going to come with you. Don't worry about it. You know you can't go in." But she didn't know.
Yeah.
So I said, "Angela," and I'm telling the guys behind that deck, "Listen to me. I'm here." They said, "Yeah, she could stay." So I said, "I bring me the jacket." "Yeah, get in." They're getting me the jacket. Get in. "You know what? I'll hold your foot. Let me hold your foot when you get in. Just so you know I'm still here." "Okay, I got the jacket on, Angela. I got the jacket on." She goes, "All right." I said, "Do you feel it right? I'm right here. I'm holding your foot. Okay? If you don't feel me, that means I'm going to sit on the floor." I forgot what I told her. I think that's what it was. "But I'm going to be in here. All right? The machine's going to start now, guys?" They said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay." So I just laid something on her toe, and the machines are so loud.
They're so
Turn
loud.
on,
Yes.
bang. She didn't know I left.
Right.
So now I go in their room, the guy's room. I said, "Listen to me. Before you shut the machine, I have to literally be in there."
I need to
"No
sneak back in and hold her foot. Yeah.
problem," they said. I said, "Thank you." We're there. I'm in the hallway watching, hysterical crying. I had called one of my friends, Lisa, and I said, "This can't be happening.
Yeah.
It just can't be happening. I feel like it's a nightmare. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do for her. I want to take her out of her house, and I'm going to take her in my house because I had a housekeeper." And I said, "The housekeeper will take care of her when I'm at work. And I don't want her to do anything." And they said not to get stressed. They said not to babysit. They said she shouldn't have noise when she's tired. I don't know what to do with her. I have to take her home with me. She would not do it, though. She would not come home with me and make me do this. So she says, "I really don't want to do chemo." Now I said, "Angela, you have to do chemo. You
Right.
have to do gamma knife. You have to do chemo. She won't hear it." In the interim, I thought ahead. I said, which I never asked my sister, like what she had in the bank money wise, because it was her and my daughter on the bank account. So to me, it didn't matter. I don't care if she had a dollar. But I said to myself, I got to do this. Her grandson came home from school, clothes off, shower, clothes in the wash. You know what I mean?
Her
It was
because her
so
immune system was just completely shot from all of this too, right? She could get
wow.
anything. Yeah.
And she stood in her house. She couldn't walk to her bedroom.
Wow.
So she went in her basement. She was able to walk down and go in the basement. Okay, we filmed Dr. Oz for 3 days.
Wow.
Now she got chemo the 5th of January, the 12th of January, and the 19th of January.
How did you
It
convince
was
her to finally
it
do
was that.
chemo? Because she was super against it, Janine.
I was like, listen to me. You have 2 kids that need you, and you have 5 grandchildren that need you. And what do you want to do? Just leave me? Stop thinking of yourself. I put it like that. Stop thinking of yourself. Let's just go to Italy. We'll go in a villa, and that's the way I'll die. We're not going to Italy because you will get on a plane and you will not be able, you'll be dead by the time you get to Italy.
Yeah.
Because the brain lesions, the
Mhm.
altitude would
It
make
couldn't
them
ha
burst.
she couldn't have
Gosh.
handled it. Yep.
So
Mhm.
now I call my lawyer and I say, I would like to go on Dr. Oz or I would like to go on Dr. Phil. He said to me, okay, no problem. He put his feelers out to both of them. They both wanted her. Dr. Phil was a little bit more money, but how are we getting to California? She said, you're going to get on the plane with me, right? This was January 13th. It was the premiere of the next season of Mob Wives, and she was sitting in the nail place. It was about 8:30, and we had to go outside to see her fans because we always watch Mob Wives in the bar. So I said, "Shut up! I'm not going to California. Neither are you, because what's going to happen is I'm going to come back by myself. I can't do that. I don't have the strength for that.
Yep.
My nerves are shot. I can't do it.
Yep.
So you have to go for chemo." The end. And basically, that's how I got her to go.
You put your foot, your 5'1" little foot down.
Put it down because I want Maya a week before that. She called me at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay, crying that she couldn't breathe, and I ran her into the hospital in the city at 4 a.m. Woke my husband up, woke my son up. I was there for hours. Now we go to the 26th. We're doing Oz. We did a 25, 26, and 27. Okay, 3 days. So, first part of the time, on the 25th, she goes in to see the doctor. Because you do three, and then you go see the doctor.
Right.
So I'm sitting there, my husband's sitting there, and your son's sitting there. She gets on the table, and the doctor says to her, so, Angela, has anything changed? Are you okay? How are you doing? She goes, I'm fine. I said, what did you just say? She said, I'm fine. Why? I said, listen to me. We speak 30 or 40 times a day. Okay? You come to my house. I go to your house. Have you not met me? I'm like really mad now. I
Mhm.
said, you walked up the steps the other day. There was only 5. You couldn't breathe. Did you forget that? Tell him what else. What? Tell him what? I can't believe you're ratting me out. This is what she's done. Now we're fighting in the doctor's office.
Right.
And we don't fight. Don't your legs hurt? Aren't you in pain? That's what you told me. We were on the phone. You couldn't breathe, okay? Now you're telling me you're fine? You're telling this guy you're fine? So he put the pulse socks. He said, Angela, walk around the thing. She couldn't even walk. When
Wow.
she came back, you know what her pulse ox was? 75. And
Gosh.
it's supposed to be close to 95.
Yeah.
So I said, do you realize what the hell you're doing? He goes, okay, stop fighting. She's got to go for a test downstairs, an MRI right now, or a CAT scan. She goes, now that I have to go downstairs, you're coming with me. No problem. I got in the elevator. I went. I stood right in the room, waited for her to get out. 20 minutes later, she comes out. We go upstairs. Now, what's good about those hospitals is as soon as it's done, it goes right to the computer of the doctor.
Right.
So, what happened was this tumor, after 3 damn chemos, grew. And it flopped. It was so heavy that it flopped on the right lung.
So this was the one in her lung, right? Her right lung. Oh my
No, this
gosh.
one in her chest cavity
Oh my
flopped
gosh.
on the lung. Now,
So
she
now
had
her
3 chemos.
lungs being compressed, which is why she's having the trouble breathing. Oh my gosh.
Don't forget about the lesions in the lung. She had half of this one, but now it's leaning on part of this one.
Mhm.
The right. He goes, Janine, I got to she's got to go in for surgery. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, I got to put a stent in because I got to pick that up. She'll die. You're going. What time is the surgery? He says, I'll make it for her tomorrow morning. I said, okay, but listen, she's got to stay in this hospital tonight. And they put us in a private room. And a lot of people I told to leave. And we played her favorite music. I had a brother that had to come from Florida. So he came later on in the night. We were there for 13 hours. So I took my boots off, I took my sweater off, and I just laid him down with her. I didn't care who was there. I didn't care. I would have did anything. So they had to change her a few times, and I said no to the nurses. I said maybe my niece wants to change her. So my niece said no, and I said it's me and the nurses then, because I'm not letting anybody wipe her private.
Mhm.
I'm going to wipe it myself, and I did 3 times because I know that's what she would want.
Mhm.
She wouldn't want anybody to see that. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I've
Yeah.
seen it 1,000 times. I've
Yeah.
seen it 1,000 times. So it
Your
didn't even
sisters.
happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just how it was with us. I thought that when I lost my mother, that I was going to really die. But my son, my oldest son, was only 6 months old, so they kept throwing him in front of me. But losing my mother was a shock because she just had a brain aneurysm. This was something that I was dealing with for months.
You had anticipatory grief, right? It was like constant calls and things you were having to do, so it is very
Yeah,
challenging.
and I
Yeah.
was trying to do so many things at once.
Mm.
And the only thing that I was really trying, I felt like I did everything and I did nothing. I can't explain it. Like, I have to save her life. Why
Yeah.
is, and I'm looking at her trying to breathe, and I'm saying, if maybe if I blow into her mouth, she could breathe, but I didn't know what I was saying anymore.
Mhm.
I didn't
We
thought
lose our
about it.
mind.
Then I played her favorite song. I sang to her. And all the while, everybody was telling her, "Oh, we're going to be okay." I wouldn't say it. So then her daughter said to me, "Jay, please, just say it. She'll listen to you." And I'm like, I can't. I just can't say it to her. I don't want her to go. So between hour 12 and 13, I'm looking at everybody, and everybody's like half dead. Her son gets in the car. He goes, "I'm going to go take a shower." I said, "Okay." So I'm just patting her. I see a little tear come out of her eye. I still have the tissue in my room. And I go, "Why is she crying?" And I pushed it onto the tissue. And I said, "Don't cry. We're going to be okay." I said, "You can go home to mommy and daddy now. You can go."
Yeah.
And she went.
She was waiting for
She just
you.
went.
She was waiting for you, Janine. Yeah.
I swear, I wish I could do it over. Because I would never make her leave. I tried so hard to say it. And she was just so special.
Yeah.
When I go see her in the wake, I promised her still that I wouldn't leave her alone. So when they were going to crank her coffin down to put her in, he said, "I have to watch it," because she told me to. They begged me to leave. Everybody left, and they let me stay.
Yeah.
They let me stay and watch her until the very end.
It's a testament to your connection. You wanted to be with her through all of it. And I think it's also very reflective of your journey with the cancer and all of the surgeries too. She always wanted you there, so you felt this need to be with her all the way
We
through,
used to
right?
take her to the bathroom. Because she was hooked up to IV, so the nurse would say, "If you take it to the bathroom, just roll the IV." And they used to take it to the bathroom, and she used to say to me, "I'm so happy you came with me." But I said, "Who else is gonna come? Always gonna."
Yeah.
She's such a part of me, and like you said before, you love your other sisters, and I
Yeah.
do love my other siblings, but she was like my twin almost. And every year on her birthday, I get something like done. Like she used to pencil in her beauty mark.
Yeah.
I got mine tattooed,
You got a
and
tattoo beauty mark. I love it. Yeah.
see, this is her handwriting. And
Yes, I noticed
so
that
you see
tattoo.
what that little mark is right there. She
Mhm.
used to always make a mistake on her spelling,
Yeah.
so she used to put "love you" every much, and she used to then cross out the E, right? So
Yeah.
when I went to get the tattoo, they said we could take the E out. I'm like, excuse me? No.
You're like, "That's not the
This is
point."
every one of my cards. This isn't every one of my cards. That crossed out E.
Yeah.
This is my
Yeah.
cards.
I think that's beautiful that you do that. We talk about that on the show all the time and in our groups and different things we do, Janine, is how can we honor them? And I have 2 memorial tattoos for my brother, so I'm with you. I got his ashes tattooed to my body. That's how gnarly. Yeah.
Am I allowed to
Yeah.
do that? You can do that?
You can do that. You
I
have to
didn't.
go to somebody who's certified, and then they take the ashes, they mix it with the dye, and I did that in my brother was murdered in November, late November, 2 days, 3 days before Thanksgiving, and then first week of December, I went and got the tattoo. I adopted a dog for him, like, so many different things that I talk about in my story, but those were so cathartic and healing for me because it makes me feel connected to him to this day, which is why I share all of your stories and I'm continuing to do this because it makes me feel like he's still with me. And I know that he is because I have my faith and my connection now. But I'm sure
100%.
you feel the same way because you've written, bring us up to speed now because you've written a book.
I thought my doctor didn't,
Yeah.
but I thought I had Alzheimer's and I was afraid to get it. So I said, I think I'm cracking up. That's what I said. I think I'm cracking up. And if I get Alzheimer's, that means I'm going to forget everything. So she said to me, go get a black and white notebook
Hmm.
and write in the notebook all of your memories. This way, if you go off, she knew I didn't have Alzheimer's, but
She knew you were grieving. Let's be honest. Grieving
she
makes you
was
feel like you're crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
So she said to me, and write down all your memories. This one, when you have Alzheimer's, someone can read it. I said, oh, that's a good idea.
It is.
And now one of my friends happens to be a St. John's graduate for journalism and for writing and all that. So I was writing and writing. And every time I wrote, I would send it to her. And I would write and write. And then she was like, this is going to be a really great book. And I was like, what? That's only for me. And
Yeah.
she was like, no, let's put it in chronological order.
Hmm.
And let's tell the people about your sister. Let's let them know this book is about Angela before TV and her.
Before Big Ange, this is Angela.
That's why I put it Angela.
Yeah.
And then I did this because her name has the word angel in it.
Angel. I know, I love that. For those of you listening, her book is Angela, but in parentheses is the A at the end, so it's actually Angel. I love that. I think that's beautiful.
So before this, I did a cookbook.
Yes, so let's bring some levity into this before we wrap it up, Janine.
Okay.
Tell us about your cookbook because it sounds like Angela also loved your food, so tell us about your food.
We're all good cooks in my family. All of
But
us.
are you the best cuz you've got a cookbook? So,
What happened was, I'm going to tell you. Angela has a book.
mhm.
It's called Bigger is Better. And when her book launch came, naturally we were there, and all the big shots up at VH1 were there. And a lot of them were women.
So is that how the whole idea of you doing a cookbook, that's how all of this came to
Yeah,
light?
when I went into the house of, it's called, I will say it, Wahida Clark House, to do this book, she had found out I was the meatball queen and made me do a cook.
So
And I did
she
the
wanted you
cookbook.
to do the cookbook first, and then you came out with the Angela book.
But this
Yes.
was doing a cookbook was extremely hard, especially with Italian people. We don't measure,
Hmm.
so everything had to be precise. I'd have my daughter or anybody on the other side watching me how much I put in because we don't measure,
Right.
and it took a lot. Like I
It's
had
all
my
just
hair
right up here and right in the hand. Yep.
done like that. I had to get all limbed up. I had to have my hair done, and I had to make all these freaking meals.
Yeah.
They needed it. They also needed it for pictures.
Yeah.
You know? So I did it and I winded up naming every recipe after somebody in my family.
I love that.
So I made it a little different.
Yeah.
And that's how it went. After I did that with her, I didn't really like the contract, so I self published.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for you.
So
Janine, thank you so much for sharing. We could do like a whole other episode, Janine. Yes. We could talk for hours. I just adore you. I just thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your heart with
thank you.
us, being so open. Thank you for supporting the show and
Absolutely.
sharing
And
not
if
just Big
anybody,
Ange though with us. You shared Angela with us, which I think is so
that's right.
important. Yeah.
And also, if you really need to talk to somebody and you're out there and you're struggling, you could always look me my Instagram. You could always ask me questions at Janine DeTore. That's it. It's so easy.
So easy.
I'm on Facebook. I have a lot of accounts on Facebook, so you can go there, or you can get the book, read it, call me.
Thank you, Janine. We're going to tag Janine in the notes as well, and you guys can connect with her. I'm a testament to it. I can tell you she will message you back. She's a doll.
I
So, Janine,
definitely will.
so much love to you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening to the Surviving Siblings podcast. If you enjoyed this episode as much as I did creating it for you, then share it on your chosen social media platform. And don't forget to tag us at Surviving Siblings Podcast so that more surviving siblings can find us. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. And don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Surviving Siblings Podcast. All links can be found in the show notes, so be sure to check those out too. Thank you again for the support. Until the next episode, keep on surviving, my surviving siblings.